into my conversation.
He got that nose that
I'm
looks
gonna
like it
keep
wouldn't,
talking
like
about it,
when you're doing
and
the
we're gonna
thing, he's
drive the
pushing the
ratings
button.
up.
His nose looks like it's gonna push the button.
Hey,
For all those
friends,
who've
we're
seen The
talking
Color
about
Purple.
Luigi Mangione and when he gonna drop that sex tape. I am willing to donate to his legal defense if I can get that early access.
Yvonne, move over and be in the camera frame better. Like shit, be right
Well,
there. You
because I
good?
was eating dinner, if you could tell time and shit, I could be in the camera frame. There we go.
Thank you. God damn it.
But yeah,
All right.
hey friends, he caught us in the middle of a conversation thinking he was gonna start stuff and we're gonna stop talking about what we talk about. I will not be silenced. I want to see the sex tape by Luigi Mangione.
Well, and that's the introduction to chat session today. I'm not doing anything else. I am tired. I look like hell. I've had a rough week. I'm tired of this shit. I got called out my name yesterday by several fucking people
Why?
in the Zoom call.
Oh, you were on the right one in the Zoom call. Sometimes you just be daring people to say shit. Oh,
Sorry, mother. What's our
damn
favorite
it,
saying? We
stuff.
choose violence.
It's right. Sometimes
Is
you
that my
you be
favorite saying?
actively choosing
That's what we
violence
say. We choose violence.
I
between
think that's my
you
favorite phrase in practice.
between you and Ramel, who wasn't there, my little chaos demon. Y'all be choosing active
At least I'm not
violence.
condescending like some people.
Ooh.
What was that one little skinny black twink who would talk for a really long time and slow enough where he would just take up 10 minutes of the Zoom call?
Alan?
Yeah. How'd he do
What
it?
happened to Alan?
I ain't heard.
What happened? Wait,
I
wait,
think
you said the funniest thing, Star Mother. You said if you say his name too many times, we might summon him. I thought I was gonna wet my pants. I'm
No,
like,
because then he showed up.
I'm like, y'all are so ridiculous.
I
Alan,
think
I
I
miss Alan's combativeness just to be combative.
my theory is because I think he was in North Carolina. I think that's where he lives at. Not to
Yeah,
dox anybody, but I
I
think
know where
when
he. Yeah.
the hurricane hit and everything, I'm pretty sure it displaced him or something of that variant. So
Um,
I hope he is okay out there and
I
nothing did
don't.
happen to him.
I used to work where he lives. In fact, he used to. He works. He works where I used to work, so I know
Okay.
where he lives.
Oh.
So he wasn't. He shouldn't have been impacted by the hurricane,
Okay. Well,
based on where.
just in case
I
because I
think
don't know.
Alan just found good dick and
He
is
that never
Oh,
stopped him
living
Jermaine
his.
finally
before.
started hitting better? Jermaine finally
Oh,
started acting right? Is that what
who
happened?
is Jermaine? Is that his man? Yeah, we're
That
just
was
putting
his
all his business.
man.
Alan, please. We shouldn't be
Why
putting
we
your
can't talk
business.
about LaShawn no more? He keeps cussing us out every time we talk about him.
Leave, sweet
We said
baby.
good things about him the last time, though. We even plugged him.
We did. We did.
Sweet baby. We can't talk about LaShawn. We can't talk about Ian. We can't talk about who else do we talk about?
You want to talk about Nico?
We talk about Nico. Can't talk about Nico. Can't talk about Romel. Can't talk about all these
Like
people.
most people in the Zoom call, like Ryan be watching us. So Ryan, if you're listening to this, you can go ahead and share all this shit in the Zoom call. But like
Hey
they be like they
Ryan.
sometimes they be
No.
listening to us and everything, and I'm like, okay, what y'all gonna do about it? Like,
I think sometimes I don't think they follow. Well, wait, hey Saquon. Some people do follow us. Hey
yeah, like there's a few people who
CKC, how
do.
you doing?
I can tell when somebody doesn't watch our podcast because if they actually did, they would hear the shit that we say about them. So clearly
Right.
they don't watch it because you don't know
Right.
nothing that we're talking about.
And
So
you'll hear me time after time be like, guys, I'm not really comfortable putting somebody's business out there. Could we stop doing that? Like,
that's
let's.
why that's why I'm like when LaShawn like gets like, oh, what did I say now? I'm like, okay, well, you have to watch the episode to see what we did say because I'm not going to repeat it on this. Like, or Nico, when Nico was actually like, who did I drag today? I'm like this. You would know if you listen to the fucking podcast. Like, it's just that simple.
I don't think.
Zaquan, fucking who's the other one? Ryan be listening to us, and they know exactly what we be saying on this bitch. But everybody else, y'all don't know shit.
Hmm.
I feel like we don't say the
So
worst
Ryan and
things.
Zaquan, if y'all listening to this and y'all watch this fucking video,
Hey. Hey.
It's so good to hear from y'all. I can't wait to have a fucking holiday so I can go to a Zoom call. I miss y'all.
I know. We miss you in the Zoom calls. In fact, I was just talking about you today with CKC. We were like, oh, we need to go to Japan and visit you. Would you
You
like
don't
to
know how
come
much.
with us, Kenneth? We can make it a threesome.
I ain't got a passport.
You don't have a passport?
No. Where's my birthday card at? Speaking of which, it's still over here.
When
You
did
You
you
told
don't
me
have a
I
get
need
it?
to get a
passport?
passport.
That's easy enough
Yeah.
to take. That's easy
I
enough to take
know.
care of. We'll
I
get you a
know. Just don't
passport.
have one right now.
We'll get you a passport. Just tell us you want to come, and we'll get you a passport.
It's only $110. That
Why does
works.
it sound like you're trying to get something nefarious? Like, why are you saying that?
No, why you make
Like, oh,
it
like we can get you a
seem
passport. Don't worry about that.
we can get you a passport. Me and CKC will get you a passport, boo, and then we'll all go to Japan.
Uh,
Hmm. No, but really, yeah, CKC and I were talking about like just different places, and we're talking about like visiting Japan and just
why don't you go to Australia to visit Ian?
I don't find men in Australia. I mean, I would like to go to
Wait,
Australia.
Before you finish that statement, please remember we're on the internet.
I know. I Australian men. There are very attractive ones, yes, but mm,
I have not seen enough Brazilian. I have not seen
Brazilian.
enough Australian men to have a feeling about them one way or another. That's my
Not gonna
personal
no
take on it.
shade. Brazilian men, whilst they be fine, I feel like a lot of them be violent sometimes. That's just my opinion.
fine with
Well,
their
they next to the
violence.
equator, and that's not me saying people close to the equator are violent. I'm just saying where it's hot, people have a
This is
lower
wrong.
tolerance for bullshit.
So you
Because
know what?
Jamaicans be violent.
Oh
Let's not
Lord,
let's clock it.
really? I've never.
Ooh.
Well,
Jamaicans be ready to fight.
my one of my hairdressers just married a Jamaican guy. They move fast, I will tell you that. It's funny you should say this. I know we have a topic set up for today, but we should really do this topic. On my side ventures, I'm doing a sort of national pride thing where I have people wearing their national colors or flags, different people, and the models that they put up for these people are incredible. When you just kind of like put in, I don't know, Brazilian. It's like, well, Brazil. Thinking about it, Brazil was a little disappointing. If I showed you
Mm.
the model, like I was a little disappointed. I was like, AI, you really didn't do your thing on this
You ever
one.
watched the
Like,
Mr. World competitions?
no, because again,
That's
those
what's
aren't
going on.
my that's not my type.
It's like,
Like,
just like a nice little male presentation of like different countries and shit like
it
that.
is, but it's too much muscle. It's too much. It's
Not all of
too.
them. Some of them just like are like in like toned and shit like that. They're not muscle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
I feel the
need
same
more
way about them, the same
tone.
way I feel about Miss Universe. Beautiful
Hmm.
women, but very manufactured beauty, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
and they all
Like
kind of look
it's
the same.
yeah, like you get a difference in skin tone, but there's no difference in body type.
Hmm.
There's no like it,
Variation.
yeah, it's very much just like same woman, different color, maybe some different sized assets, but ultimately this is the same. Like they're built
Yeah,
the same.
yeah.
And so for Mr. America or the Mr. World, it kind of feels, you look at them, it's just like, you guys are all kind of built the same. Some of y'all are built like twunks, some of y'all are built like
Oh,
hunks, but ultimately it's the same.
Hmm.
let me
And then you
see. I
see the
want
muscle
to. I want
competitions.
to see if I can. Can I? Do I have the ability to share?
No.
Do you not trust? Is the trust gone like that? Like, I do work in a job where I do professional stuff. I have had
Yvonne, you have sat in Zoom calls and told us all the
I
dirty ass stories that you've told us about your sexual escapades
have
over the last 20 years. Now,
I have also had at some point in my life government clearance. So come on.
oh,
Trust me. Trust me just a little bit. I promise you, if you trust me, it'll be worth it. And then you could decide if you want to go with this or not. But it's got me interested in what y'all thoughts are on this. If I can pull it up, if I can get it. Hold on. If Ken would just trust me and just I don't know what I have done to you to make you think that I am untrustworthy as
I'm
a
wondering if Nico's actually going to do a watch party because I feel like
for
at
what? For
least
what you for
just to watch something like as a group, like all of us be sitting there just talking over each other. Like, why don't we just sit there and watch something like a short film for like 15 minutes and then talk about it?
I think that'd be a good idea. I
There's
think
I
plenty
that
would
of
would
love
be
to
gay
watch
ones that
it.
are
really.
bad.
I think that'd be a really good idea. Let me
What
see.
happened, Star Mother? What did you just say?
What'd you say?
What did I say?
What did you just say? Oh
Y'all
my
see my
God.
screen?
Oh, you got AI men.
Yeah. Y'all see my
Yes.
screen?
Yeah.
How do I blow this up? Let's see. Oh, that's how I do that. Ooh,
Can we not remember
that
you're
was
on YouTube so
unintended.
you can have the girl?
But these are my creations,
Or
so I don't want to. So I don't know which country this is, but
I think that's
I
Turkey.
think it is Turkey.
okay, that could be. See, he's okay. He would get eliminated very quickly. Those ears. Like, what is this? What is this turkey? This
But I
is your
like it.
best.
Well, he's AI, so no, he's
I don't
not.
understand. I'm not trying to understand what she's trying to do because it's like it's AI. What the fuck are you? Lie.
But it's AI, but it's based on. Oops, it's based on. Let's see. How do I do this?
Oh, you made him talk.
It's who is this one now? What's this one?
Fudge. I used to know that flag. I don't know
It's
it now.
not.
Oh, you're good, Star
It's
Mother.
not.
Is it? I don't know. Now I do like what I see here. I do like what I see. Oh, let me show you my favorite though. Hold on. These are the still pictures. I won't do the moving pictures. I'll save that for my channel, which I'm not going to name because I did this one for the
Oh, he looks like Aaron
US.
Pierre.
No, he does not.
No, he looks like a Wayne brother.
He does. He does. Oh, he looks over it, but he's so sexy. Let me see if I can get him in motion.
Ooh.
He just looks like he's so over it, but he does look like a Wayne's brother. Isn't he attractive? Oh, hello.
Nothing.
Huh? I don't know.
All right.
Know. And let me see my favorite one so far. I'm just gonna show. Oh, let me show you Brazil, because I was so disappointed with Brazil. I was like, Brazil, they did you dirty. Like somebody dislikes you in Brazil. What the fuck is
Why is
this?
his short so long?
The fuck?
A Eurocentric
Thank
view
you!
of
Shirt so
Brazil.
long.
What is this,
so
Brazil?
long?
What is this? Why
Again,
does
it's
AI
AI
hate?
though. So
But why does AI hate you, Brazil? Why does AI hate you,
All right,
Brazil?
Yvonne, take this
But
shit
you know
off the
who
screen.
AI likes? Last one. This is my favorite
What,
one by
Jamaica?
far. No, the Bahamas. Brazil like the Bahamas. I mean Brazil. AI like the Bahamas.
You giving sassy DL behavior.
Oh, oh, the hips. Oh, Lord Jesus. Okay. Well, how do I take this off the screen?
It's click stop sharing.
Oh, stop sharing. There you go. There you go. That's what we need to do. Like we need to do like different countries of the world, AI people, men, it could be men and women, and we just critique it. Like, like where are you going with those ears? Ugh.
Again, I think a man with mousy ears is kind of fun and endearing, and they're usually really good for telling what to do.
I like.
Oh, did y'all see that?
Like the Greeks. I like it.
Did y'all see that video I sent of that big person in the yellow shirt who was trying to manhandle that little short little?
Maybe.
Oh my
Should
god! I
know.
sent it to like Zaquan and everything, and I was like, I just pictured.
You might
Let
not
me
have sent
resend
it
it to
to
y'all because it's the
Zaquan.
funniest damn thing. Because I was like, this. I literally found the embodiment of me in a relationship.
Oh,
that
yeah.
I was like, that's me.
As soon as you said that,
This is fully me in a
now.
relationship with somebody.
Why would you think that's you in a relationship? Yes, now I recall said meme. Now I do recall it. Why would you say that's you in a
Because that's the type of relationship I would have.
Is that the type of relationship you
In
want?
some way, it's not entirely, but in some way, someone want that.
You want to be in charge? There's
I
nothing wrong with that if you do.
I can't be with someone who's dominant. It doesn't work out for me.
Oh well, I mean, they don't have to be dominant, but do you want them to like
a dominant relationship? That's why like Trey with Trey and shit like that. I'm like, bro, this ain't gonna work on me. I'm sorry.
No,
you and
Trey
would work because he's what do they call that?
Hotep.
A temp. Yeah.
Trey, now we're talking shit about Trey. Trey is that far from believing and starting to spout flat Earth shit. Where I'm like, dude, get off this internet.
I think every time Trey talks, I'd be like, oh, here come him and his masculinity coming through the gates now. Come on.
It's one thing to be masculine. His masculinity takes aren't inherently the problem. And I'm all for black on black love. But I'm also remembering that, like, hey, the problem I have with most temps is they don't acknowledge the imperfections of the black community and trying to date within your community.
Especially when you're femme.
Under certain kind of emotion. Yes. If you are a feminine male, like being with a temp can be really hard because they don't acknowledge you as a person, and or their beliefs kind of
override
they don't
everything.
Yeah, they don't really work with your existence. So therefore it's just like, this would work if this wasn't as harsh of a view. Now, their views towards other ethnicities, specifically the one that has enslaved most of the world, I don't really care about. That doesn't really affect me one way or another. But I have always been proponent of go where you are loved, go where you are cared for.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, if you want to stay within the ethnicity for love, that's fine. But if you keep running into the same problems with the people that you're dealing with in the ethnicity, the problem is a little bit of you, because at the same time you keep going after the same kind of man subconsciously, or the same kind of partner subconsciously. Got to take personal accountability. And the second part is, hey, your type just isn't good for you. And there's probably someone outside of it who might treat you better.
For some people, that is the case.
I like
and we
that.
Can't
Go where you're appreciated, go where you loved. That's advice that's always given, especially to Black women. When dealing with difficult relationships, sometimes you have to go. And I know we said that, the palm colored variety folks are not always our favorite folks, but sometimes those are the people that are going to treat you the best in the relationship. There are some palm colored people who are
No, because Tina Turner's husband, as well as Eve, they both married very well.
Tina went through a hell
and
before
happy.
She got to that one. So there's
right.
fair.
She went through hell, but not right. Yeah.
But like the man that she went to next treated her with love, care, made sure that she was provided for, and she was secure even outside of like her finances at the table. Eve married a millionaire, and she's doing great.
Isn't he a billionaire? Is he a billionaire?
Regardless, she married into wealth, and she's having a great time. You don't ever hear about none of Eve's business.
Why would you? He's living her best life, and so find that person or persons who adore you, who want to be in the space that you're in. There are people out there. How many billion people are there in the world? I don't even know.
Over
over 7 billion people in the world. You can't tell me out of 7 billion people you can't find that good fit. You know what I mean? Now,
in the gay community, apparently that's the scale.
Well, with the gay community, our numbers are much smaller on that, but
right. Allegedly, you're like what? I've heard things from like 1% of the population. I don't think it's that low. I think
this is a whole other discussion. We was not here for this. We were supposed to be talking about other shit. I hate to cut this off.
Hey,
we can talk about this.
We have never married ourselves to a conversation that hard.
But I'm actually excited for this next conversation because it's a tie-into what we did last time.
If you're excited.
But we'll put a pin in this conversation and do that for another episode, because I do think we should talk about that. May have a few other people join us, depending on how I feel about it that week.
Oh, a round table.
We can bring the hotel.
No. Him and his...
No, I want to hear what he got to say. We need that perspective.
Then you can see the dynamics of our new podcast, me and the Hotep podcast together.
His voice can stay right there.
No. I want him here because he needs to be able to defend himself. This is the one time where he should be able to defend himself, because not three of us cannot speak for his perspective.
I don't even try to speak for his perspective, but
exactly,
honestly, in perspective, I'm probably the closest to it at being a contrarian Negro. We're both contrarian Negroes. I just don't have the masculine perspective, but I do find his takes very interesting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Depending on which one it is.
And in earnest. So like I said, I think he and I would do a great podcast together. I think we have enough pushback, but we also have enough commonality that we'd have a lot of fun.
Yes, that's the
Alrighty.
reason why it's just like I would like him with us for one episode to have the conversation, because I would like to talk about love and love and race and how it
Love
affects the
and
gay
race.
and femme community.
I think that's a good topic. I think that's a hot topic. I think that's a take.
I think you guys should comment down below if you really want to hear us talk about it, because I think you guys would really
Ooh,
appreciate it. Please
I
and
think you
thank you.
should. And also comment down below if you want to see Luigi Mangioni's sex tape.
All right, enough of this
Comment
nonsense.
down below.
Now we're moving on. All right, so like last week we talked about the top 25 Cartoon Network TV shows, and this week we decided to continue with that, and we're going to talk about the top 25 Nickelodeon shows. Well, the best 25 Nickelodeon shows. Whatever, you see the title.
Arguably the best.
Arguably,
Debatably.
ranked of all
These
time.
are not whoever made these. We don't know how they scaled this. This might
Right,
have
we
been
don't know
by
what they-
word of mouth.
Boom. Right. There's probably going to be a lot of how the hell did they get there and why did it get so high? But
well, we
And then
said
on
that
top of that,
last
even if
time.
it
There
was
was a few
voting,
of
we
them
gotta
that was a
remember
little.
the VMAs.
did I open my links to y'all and I had this all open at the top of my screen? Oh Lord. Ooh.
Well, I'll go look at that in the recording later.
Please edit that out.
All the porn.
No, don't edit that out. I want to see.
Oh. Oh, you'll have to go back and see because I just oh my goodness.
Shame on you, Yvonne.
Girl, I open stuff on my computer throughout the day and be like, I'll be shocked when I come back at
I-
night. Be like, oh girl, what would you was watching that earlier?
Is my frame
Wait.
moving slower for y'all, or is it just me?
Your frame not moving at all?
I'm
Well,
sorry.
I see like ads.
It's
Is that what I'm supposed to see?
no,
Have you started scrolling down?
no, I'm talking. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't see.
All right.
Okay, now you're scrolling.
Number 25 is Cousin Skeeter. Now I love this show. I used to watch this shit. This shit was funny.
Vaguely remember this.
I remember it was about a
Same.
puppet.
And I
It
know-
was a weird show, but it was so funny to watch.
I definitely do know a lot of the community that likes Cousin Skeeter, but it was on the tail end of my consciousness, or it was right before the beginning of my consciousness, and I don't think they were airing it around the time I was really paying attention. If that
I
makes
think
sense.
it's in a good the way
Yeah, because this would have ended right around the time I was 4.
where it's placed at.
No.
It's fine because it's like it didn't last that long. So it's
Hi, here's a
perfectly
list of
fine
things
about
I find
that.
worthy of revolution.
5.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I know of it, just not really. Yeah,
Not
No.
very familiar, so I can't say
Familiar
one
with
thing
it.
or another for it.
1998. God, what was I
All
doing
right.
in 1998?
Unfabulous.
Unfabulous.
Vaguely remember.
Again, not aware of it.
This I do remember, and it was one of those Nick shows where you got your stereotypical like black friend
who grew up to be a fine
he's
black
kind of
man.
weird, kind of funny.
That
Oh, he
would be the
did.
one
He
on
really
the end,
did.
right? He's
Yeah.
the one
Yeah,
on the
he
end.
became a
Okay.
beautiful
He
man.
became a beautiful black man.
Oh, really?
Oh, girl.
Okay. Well, I think a picture needs to be thrown up. Let me see because I don't. I mean, here he just looks like a kid.
All right, let me.
Well, he
let
was.
me
He
do
was a
some- let me
preteen.
do some Google
Right.
real
I want to
quick.
see the beautiful black man that he blossomed into.
Hold on.
What's his
Let
name?
me-
I mean,
I do not.
what's his name?
I will tell you in a second. Hold on.
Is he still acting, or has he like just left acting?
Yeah, he still acts
Is
here.
he selling
He still acts
insurance
very
now?
much.
Oh, okay.
Hold up.
I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else or anything. I tell you what, Nickelodeon does a great job of making middle-aged kids or people look like children. Because all these mugs, minus the black guy, look like they could be entering their 30s.
Nickelodeon put their people through some hell. I'll know that
Oh,
much
they
for
did.
sure.
Oh,
But that's
they
mainly just
did.
because Dan Schneider was a prolific writer in in Nickelodeon. Oh, God.
And he was also some other stuff that we're probably not supposed to say.
I mean,
who's
look at
gonna
this fine
get,
piece, brother.
sued.
Yeah, no, them dreads. he don't ever need to go back to dreads, but everything else.
Okay, Jordan Calloway. Oh, he's a cutie. He is a cutie.
Yeah, no, Jordan
He's-
Calloway. He was a part
He's
of some
an
of my
approachable. Really, he's an approachable cutie
Facts.
too.
dreams.
You
He's
don't
got
think so?
that smile that's just like, oh, I can treat you almost any kind of way I want to. And I'm not a mean person. I don't but I don't have to be nice to you. Like, that's the reason why I would fall for him quickly. I don't need to be nice to you because you know how to bite back and you know how to just let me go. And I would take advantage of that. He'd probably let me hug him for like hours on end as long as I'm not in his way.
He looks like just a terribly cute cutie, like someone I would walk up to and say, "You smell good," and just smell him. You smell downy fresh.
Yeah, he just seems like the kind of guy where it's just like you can get away with a lot.
You want to hear a funny story? I don't know if I don't know if I said this part of the story of my birthday, but like when my sister's of the child of the '90s, so like they had this thing where they used to smell like a guy's back to see if he actually put cologne on, put cologne on. Yeah, it's
On
like
his
if
back?
he actually like put
Okay.
it on, and everything like that. So she did that to Nico. She smelled his back to see if he had cologne on, and I just said, Trina, don't bother. He don't like fat bitches.
You don't like fat bitches. Oh my God. Slander. You don't know what Nico likes or not.
Inherently,
but
there's no inherent proof of whether that's true or not.
But did he have cologne?
He did.
Was he wearing cologne?
I just the statement I made.
Nico's another one that I think would. So most of the people in our group, I suspect, smell very good in person. You know what I mean? Like, I suspect they know their way around a good cologne, and I suspect they know how to mix colognes, because that's a lost art. You know how people can mix like 3 or 4, and you're like, oh, that's good. And then some people mix them, and you
realize
go,
that if you mix a cologne that has too much
you done made
alcohol
mustard
in it
gas
with another one,
you gonna kill us.
Okay. Yep, and this is one of those that should not be up there. But again,
I remember this one vaguely. Also,
I never cared for it.
Again, it's one of those where I really, in all your discography, this made 23. This is what 23 was.
I think because it's geared.
Maybe it had some bangers. I don't know.
This I cannot even remember what the show was about, so I couldn't even tell you.
I remember the art style. I remember the snake, but
that's about
what was I doing in 23, 2013, 2016? Life.
True Jackson BP should have been higher. True Jackson GP should have gotten more flowers. That was a good show. It was a funny show.
It had good premise. It was funny. It had good acting. I give it props. Yeah, it should be higher than this.
Again, I've heard of it.
This is one of Keke. I think was this Keke Palmer's first like real television show?
Yeah, it was her first show as a lead.
Because I remember she had been in movies, but I don't remember her being in any like long format TV shows before that.
Was this Akilla the Bee around that time?
A few years.
Akilla and the Bee was before this.
Okay. She's always a cutie though. Beautiful.
She always had a job.
Wild Thornberries.
One thing about Keke.
This should be way higher.
I love this show.
Way higher.
I think this should be higher, and the only reason why it's not is because people people aren't used to having ugly art styles anymore. If that makes sense. Because I definitely feel like Nickelodeon.
They were a little ugly. They were a little fugly.
You see them neck to head ratios? I'm just saying. Head to neck ratios is crazy.
Rugrats should have prepared us for how ugly Nickelodeon was going to get.
Rugrats was one of the more tame parts of ugly, which is funnier to me.
Them kids was ugly. I mean, we should have known Rugrats. Hey Arnold, Nickelodeon's got a thing about neck to head ratio.
They like to be.
It's only going to get weird people
with their design, so I give them credit for that.
Yeah, I did love though the writing and everything about it, voice acting, everything. I loved the Wild Thornberries and their hunts for cryptids. I loved it. I actually loved it.
I used to, when I was younger, I had a crush on the little brother who was just wild and couldn't speak English.
No, the one, the one that was like an animal, yeah.
I had a crush on him. If you knew me when I was a kid, I was very much the kind of person that would be like, I'm always hanging out with the kid that can't communicate for themselves. Aww. I'm not sticking up for them or anything. Like, they can take care of themselves, and they did very well. But for some reason, it was just like, you get to be wild in ways that I can't be, so therefore, I'm just gonna like stick on you. Clarissa explains it all.
Before
I know
she was,
her.
I've heard of it.
Before she was Sabrina the Teenage Witch, she was Clarissa. Yeah. I've heard of this. I've seen clips. I've seen certain.
She did look familiar.
This ended the year I was born, so
I hate you all. So 1991 was that picture I sent you from. Well, no, that wasn't even 1991. That was late 80s greatness with the crimped hair and the Payless
But like
shoes.
I'm
And thank
aware
you
of this
very
show. It
much.
had a pretty
You
cool
just look
intro to
so
it too. I would recommend like go look up the intro for the show. It actually was
I
really interesting.
remember. Yeah, I remember that.
But like it
Yeah.
was a good
Didn't
show.
All That make a spoof of it?
I do not know.
All that. The
Yes.
show All That.
Yeah.
The also
All that. Is that was that Nickelodeon
Yes,
too?
it's on here too.
Yep. So it
Okay.
should be
That
on
should
here, and if it's not, it's
okay.
gonna be a problem.
Jimmy
This should
Neutron,
be ranked
yes.
way
Jimmy
higher.
Neutron
This
was
had
funny.
a movie. The movie
Yes.
spun off this TV show. The TV show was fucking genius. I think this should be so much higher than this.
Yes. Jimmy Neutron. And my favorite was the little black girl.
Oh,
What was her
Libby.
name? Libby. I
I
loved
love
her
how
with
they
her
put
little
the two
braids.
minorities together as a group, as a couple. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I just also think it was really funny when they like she went from like the bob.
Like no, she went from the
braided
pony.
bob.
She went from the ponytail to the side bang to the
Ponytail.
bob cut and shit. I was like, come through with the hairstyle change.
And then
When they went to Egypt,
and it's like she was the
became
only
queen,
person who kept getting new hairstyles.
queenness.
There was somebody specifically, like whoever was her character designer said, you know what, we're giving Libby a new hairstyle, and none of you guys are telling me no.
Right.
Because
We're just gonna
she's
do
a black
this.
girl. She's
Like,
not
fuck
keeping
this
the same
shit. We changed
hairstyle the
this
whole
bitch
time.
up
You
real
think she's
quick.
always going to stay in that bun? Fuck no.
Right, which is low key genius, but yes, I love
Great
it.
show.
I love Jimmy Neutron. He should be
Yeah,
higher on the
way
list.
higher than this. All right,
Yeah,
Victorious.
there really is a neck to head.
I've heard
I
of
actually
it.
really love
did
that one.
birth at least 3 very talented and very popular stars from this show. Obviously, we all know
And who
Ariana
would-
Grande
who
is
would
from
they
this.
be?
Well, not originally.
Which one is Ariana?
Leon
one with the
Thomas.
red hair.
Leon.
Which one?
Ooh.
She
Okay.
she went on to have a successful music career.
She's a little chunky
Yeah,
there.
she went on to have a
Gosh.
successful music
Yeah.
career.
No. Yvonne, we don't talk about her weight. We don't talk about Ariana Grande's weight.
Sorry.
His name's Leon, right? The one with the
Sorry.
dress, Leon, right?
Yeah, that's Leon Thomas, who is a prolific R&B singer
And producer.
actor.
He has created
He-
some mega hits
and
for people
producer.
and shit. Like, yes, he is. And I
Go
think
on,
he's a Grammy
Leon.
winner too.
Go
So
on,
like,
boy.
he has some
All
success.
right, Leon.
And then
Go
the
ahead,
other
boy.
one who played Jade, I don't remember. I think her name is Elizabeth in real life. But like
Which one is that?
the
The one with the eyeliner in the bottom corner next to
Yeah.
the tan boy.
The one who looks 30 right there in that
Yeah.
picture?
Yep, but she
This
still
one
looks
right
the same.
here.
So
Oh,
at least
okay.
she aged well.
she
Yeah.
went on to
All right.
Oh.
not recreate, but they brought back Dynasty, and she went on to lead that.
Oh.
Oh.
Love to see it.
Well, you know that I would sue you just because you compared me to two people who are doing great things in their life, and then you get to me and you say they brought back Dynasty
Well,
and she was part of it. I'd want to sue you.
She listen. A lot of them are successful.
She's doing better than
That's
Victoria
very true.
Justice.
The one
Which
in the
one's
middle, the one the
Victoria
show is
Justice?
about. Mind you, she was not even the best.
Oh,
She
what
wasn't
is
even the
doing?
best singer of the show, but she was the lead of it.
What is she doing now?
Just acting small.
She's still trying.
It's not-
Oh,
But anyway, this
But,
show,
what
like-
she is doing though? She's getting royalties.
I doubt
Go
it.
ahead.
This show was entertaining.
Yeah.
It did birth a lot of these
Yeah,
people
that's-
are still actively working. Maybe not as much as like some others, but like
Right.
they are still active in their careers and they're still doing stuff. As you follow them, you'll see that some of them are actually in like starring TV shows and movies and stuff like that. So
The other brown boy, he just released a poetry book talking about the trauma that he went through between that show into his modern life. And he's done a few movies. One of his more popular scenes is when he was simulating homosexual love, and that was a great scene. That was a
Oh, I
great
remember that
scene
show.
indeed.
Wow, there's a lot
Yeah.
going on in this show. Wow.
all right,
They went through some stuff.
Doug, I love Doug.
again,
I love the
Doug.
color
should
diversity.
be way
of Doug.
higher.
Yeah, seminal
Should be
show,
way
Doug.
higher. This was a good show. It was so odd and
He was the one with the dog pork chop,
Yeah.
right?
it was odd
Yeah,
and
I love
unique
Doug.
and in a way special. And it's like
Mhm.
it showed like diversity in such a weird way. Like you didn't know like
It
everyone
did.
had like a different ethnicity, and it's like it didn't matter that they were all different skin
Mhm.
colors and shit like that. It was just like this was diversity
right.
at a height.
This was
My first
something
interracial
Nickelodeon was
couple.
gonna- Yeah, and look at that neck to head ratio.
They
Nickelodeon wasn't afraid.
really did have a problem.
I mean,
with
I'm
that.
on the 6 strands of hair on top of the head part. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
what's going on here?
Mm.
Nickelodeon was really out there. Was
They said
really
late-
out there.
it gives you enough thought about how much hair he has, and that's all that matters.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a hint of hair.
It's a
That's all he needed.
all
He didn't
right.
need the neck, so he
Tiana.
only needed a hint of hair. I don't know
I
this.
thought it
No,
was
this
Diana.
Taina.
It lasted one season.
Who are these people?
I barely remember this show. I don't remember really watching it. So
It must have made an impression on the writer of this article. I have never seen these
I think it
people
was
in
the
life.
first Latino family on
Um,
Nickelodeon, if not on television.
Oh,
yes.
I mean, I could be wrong about that, but like I think
oh,
it was a
okay.
moment. But I just don't remember the show
It
enough
was
Hmm.
a
to
good
really
show.
care.
I think if it had waited about 3 years, it would have gotten a second and third season.
It
Mm.
was a little bit. I think it was
Like it
ahead
was
of
one
its time. I think.
Mm. It was a little ahead of his time. Okay.
because you see that color
I think you're right.
diversity. You see
Yeah,
all
that
that
color
color.
range for Latinos? Come on. That
Like
is
it's still within the
nice.
paper bag ratio, but like it's still pretty good.
I mean, you've got some black Latino
Yeah.
there. I'm seeing at least two. So I mean, I like that. Unless they were just the African American characters that were like the friends of the
Could have been.
Latino family.
I cannot remember.
I
Rocket
don't know which
Power.
one. Rocket
Rocket.
Power. I did not like this show that
This
much.
show, I
I
am
didn't like
sure
Rocket
this
Power.
show birthed an entire generation of skateboarders and BMXers and just snowboarders and shit. Like it had to. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Hmm.
All four of these kids who lived in like, they lived in what would be like like Malibu, I think it was, or something like that. They were
Hmm. Are they
no, they weren't
rich? Are
actually.
they rich?
They weren't rich, but
Okay.
their father owned a business, so they lived pretty well. But
Okay.
like they were always
Okay.
this active. Like this is like a show of like these kids were outside doing shit. They weren't in the
Hmm.
house just playing video
It,
games.
Hmm.
no, their main thing was going outside, trying new tricks, and like trying to like one up their last
Yeah,
progress thing.
like and they all
Hmm.
had like their own
Hmm.
specialties, but they all like and like the activities these kids did were endless. Like they did shit from skateboarding to snowboarding to skiing to like mountain biking to
Hmm.
like it was
Hmm.
wild.
Hmm.
They may not have had a lot of money, but they had enough money because you can't. Those are not
Not
cheap
one bit.
sports.
I guess that's maybe why I thought they were
Which I
rich.
can
Because
understand.
I was like, y'all are always doing shit stuff.
But
So,
Like that equipment and upkeep it adds up.
hmm. Now I
Ned
know of
Declassified.
Ned Declassified. Never really watched the show,
I've
but I've
heard it.
heard
I
of it.
saw this show.
It was a
It was
good show.
funny. It's so sad
Hmm.
with this show, what they have become today.
Like, what
So
happened?
Because
Is it
Ned was
like,
never able to get any other real roles because he got
hmm.
Nickelodeon he got fucked with that role.
he
It's like one of
he
those
did
one hit wonder problems.
he did go on to be on a different TV show
Mm.
called Greek. Yeah, Greek, and
But it didn't
it
get
did.
very
It only lasted
far.
like 5 seasons. He was only for like 3, but they did a
Mm.
podcast today, basically reminiscing of the show, and they were
Mhm.
desperately trying to get the show rebooted, and Nickelodeon just said no. Like they badly
Mm.
wanted to do
Now
like a Raven's Home to this show, and they could not do it.
Hmm. What was it about? Just a
A
kid
kid
in high
surviving
school?
high school.
a kid who was and like literally just kind of writing like different tips to help people. And there were some things that actually were able to like take home, and other things where it's just like you could actually take home to your real life and like, hey, this is how I can actually deal with this problem. Other stuff,
Mm.
it was kind of like, this is the nonsensical stuff that is Nickelodeon. I can't do nothing with
That's
this.
what I was
Now,
gonna say.
one thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I was gonna
Oh
say
no.
that now
Yeah,
the
I'm sorry.
black man. Oh,
Mhm.
he aged beautifully. That is a
Uh,
beautiful man. That
Pull
was a
up
beautiful
that
man.
beautiful bean footage. Let's see the black dude. What's his name?
Please,
Oh,
please show
what
this.
is his name?
Please show
I
that
don't
man.
remember.
Let
I
us
was
give
gonna say
this him flower.
while you're looking for that, I was gonna say Nickelodeon did that well, better than any other Cartoon Network. Disney. Well, and I think Disney tried to emulate how well Nickelodeon did that middle school to high school kind of survival. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
to me they did that very well, if that makes sense, even in cartoon and live action sense. And Disney, did their own thing, and I think Disney more mimicked the
Dis
success of a lot of these sort of things. Okay.
Oh, he aged well.
He's okay, yeah.
He aged well. He aged very
You know what, his teeth are nice, those braces paid off.
All right,
What, his teeth are nice.
well. No, you're right. You're right.
I am not
It's
chiming
fine.
in on any of this.
What
But
he is,
but
like he's
yeah,
gonna watch this. Oh my
I will
god.
definitely say Nickelodeon, in terms of its live action shows, was better showing diverse fiction and kind of giving more people a chance with more stories. Whereas Disney was good at like fantasy fiction. So like Phil of the Future, like something like that. They were good at doing like a fantastical premise, but for like everyday life.
This should be ranked a little bit
as
lower.
well as white fiction.
This should be ranked a little bit lower. It was good, but it wasn't that good.
Like I said, I've heard of it. I never really.
It was good, but it wasn't that good
because the live action stuff. I'll be honest with you, I never really looked at it too much because it just didn't hit. As at 2005, I had left graduate school. I was starting my first real job, so I was an adult. You know what I mean? So it didn't really. They didn't really hit me like that. Danny Phantom, okay, it was okay. I wasn't that impressed.
I think it should be higher.
It was.
I feel like it should be higher. I don't think it's number one.
I ever watched the whole thing,
but I think Danny Phantom was good in the sense of like Danny Phantom was Nickelodeon's Teen Titans, in my opinion. Like not in terms of like how powerful its storytelling was, but in the sense of it was one of its best continuating storylines. If that makes sense.
I watched it. I enjoyed it. I think the one thing I remember is Ember. She had her own song,
Ember,
and like some of the ghosts were cool, but after a while, it kind of became like a little bit repetitive. I'm like, okay,
it's the same animation style as Fairly Odd Parents.
Because it's the same person.
Most of
the
them
same
worked on
person.
the same
Okay.
shows.
I'm guessing the Fairly Odd Parents. Rocco's Modern
Talk about
Life.
a show about diversity.
Yes, Rocco's Modern Life. Yes. Who leaves a banana? And the banana in the refrigerator, and you find out the banana is Madam President. It was so incredible. But anyway, Heifer, I loved. Again,
I love that his name was
this
Heifer.
is more in my age range. I love that his name was Heifer.
I love that his name was Heifer.
I love Filbert.
This is the fact that he's just called Heifer.
Heifer. He just called Heifer, and he gave no fucks, and I just love how it felt like when I would watch this back in '93. I think I was probably Rocco's pretend age of like what 20 or something like that, 20ish.
Because Heifer still lived at home with his parents.
Yeah,
Rocco lived by himself.
Filbert lived on his own.
But there was
Rocco lived on
also
himself.
Like, are they adults or are they like? Is Heifer younger than them? Like, yes, he's stupid, but he's not younger.
I don't think he is. I think Heifer was just lazy. I think he was a lazy heifer. That just allowed his parents to do stuff for him. Just a lazy ass heifer. I think that was just his person. But I think I personally took Rocco and all of them to be young adults. Like I not teenagers, and if they were teenagers, they were like at the very end of teenagedom, like 19, 20, even maybe mid 20s, like that end of adolescence. That's what I'll always take in Rocco.
Why did both of the frogs have birthing hips? That was the thing that was crazy to me.
The frogs were hilarious. They were the neighbors. I love the whole show. The whole concept really wasn't made for kids sort of stuff. This is Nickelodeon's not made for kids era.
Another good weird concept that was really good executed. Like, it was interesting to watch.
That's not made for children. I don't remember very many children.
All right, iCarly.
I know iCarly.
Yeah, I think it's right.
It was the jumping point for a lot of shit afterwards, so I can at least give the credit for that. I did enjoy the show.
I'm happy that times were easier on iCarly than they were for the Victorious kids. I'll definitely say that much. I will definitely say Victorious had a lot of good songs, but iCarly definitely has staying power. I'll say that much.
I think they had I think iCarly had better characters for me.
What was the premise?
It was this teenage girl who lived with her older brother. They basically started a web series called iCarly, where they did like skits and stunts, like basically what most people try to do today. But like their entire show was the premise of that, along with like just living their normal lives and everything like that.
It was a show that was capitalizing on YouTube personalities. It was really right place, right time show, because that's also when Fred was really popular on YouTube, and then they were doing collaborations. But I do think like it's really funny because thinking about the premise and going into lives, they didn't have no mom. Spencer had to be the de facto dad because their dad was a submarine officer, so he was never really able to be around for them, and that was always so crazy to me.
Did anybody's career pop off from this?
Yeah, I mean, not
I don't think anybody actually really made it out
not
of
a not
Nickelodeon
they're
from
not
this.
I
Mm.
wouldn't say that like they're failing at anything currently, but I would say like they didn't pop off like an Ariana Grande from like Victorious.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
they still work. They did a
Mm.
reboot of this too. That was pretty successful. I actually watched that. It was actually enjoyable. And but as far as like careers outside of this, I know for a fact some of them did movies and other TV shows and stuff like that. So
Mm.
and the
Mm.
blonde one, Jeanette, she basically retired because her mother was a horrible person and during this time and everything like
Oh, that's the one that wrote the
yeah,
book.
like
Okay,
have
gotcha.
Yes, I'm glad my
yes.
mother
So she
died.
went through a lot of shit.
Oh
So
yeah,
she's
yeah.
basically retired from this and living just a normal life.
I hope she's happy.
I
Yeah, it
hope she
sounds like
is
she went through a
too.
lot. I hope she's happy. Uh, Another show I really didn't
I didn't
get.
care.
Oh, and it's still
Yeah,
going.
it's still going. The
It's
Loud
still
House.
going.
I
I
couldn't describe this premise even if you asked me.
I did not watch The Loud House. By the time The Loud House was in circulation, yeah, 2015, I was a
Yeah.
junior in high school and I was on a dance team. I was not at home watching
Yeah, I was
television
in high
like that.
school too when this popped up, and I was like, I don't think any of us is even talking about this shit like, at all.
When
Yeah.
I
Two
if I had
thousand.
the time to watch a television show, it definitely wasn't for that. It
Definitely
definitely
was
was
not for
not for
shit.
that.
Are
Yeah.
you afraid of the
Mm.
dark?
Are you afraid of the dark?
I love this. I remember the early seasons of it, not the later. I didn't know it went that long, to tell you the truth.
Oh, a
I
decade. I
just
just
remember the
realized that. I thought
'90s
it said a
version.
year. I was like, a
I
decade.
know that
Damn.
shot,
Um,
like
I
shot. I didn't think it
I
went that
briefly
long.
remember this show. I would have to watch like an episode just to get like what it was about. But
It was sort of like a Twilight Zone or
yeah, I
Tales
would
from the
imagine.
Crypt,
Yeah,
kind of
like
like
a
creepy pasta
goosebumpy like
stories.
type of show.
Yeah,
Like
Goosebumps series.
I
Yeah,
get it.
but
It
very
was
kid
the it was
friendly.
if it wasn't for Are You Afraid of the Dark, Goosebumps couldn't have thrived on Nickelodeon like it
Yeah.
did.
So I
Yeah.
again, I'm not familiar with the show. I remember watching some parts of it. I feel like T and Tamara was on an episode of
Yeah.
this, but I could be completely wrong.
I was gonna say, so this is the type show that would recycle a lot of kid stars. They would just pull kid stars from other shows to star in one or
Yeah,
two
like just like a
episodes.
brief
Does
little
that make
like to say
sense?
like,
Yeah.
okay, let's push your acting chops in
Mm-hmm.
this shit right now. Like, come on.
You're gonna
Yeah,
be scared. There's
there
gonna
you
be
go.
something chasing you.
Hey
Something
Arnold
creepy.
should be
Hey
way fucking
Arnold!
higher on this
Oh
list.
my
This list is the
god.
reason why I don't have good friendships.
Ah,
This shows the reason why I don't
really?
have good friendships.
Hey, really? Hey Arnold is the reason why I went into school
Because
psychology.
I
That whole episode with Helga
oh
G.
my god.
Pataki, and the psychologist, and she at the end and she broke down and she hugged her because she never really had a friend to really tell all those things to, and you found out all that stuff that was bottled up with Helga and her
Oh
sister and
yeah,
her
yeah.
dad, and I literally at the end of that episode I literally cried when she ran back into the office and hugged the school psychologist because she
I
was so
never got
resistant to talking to her. Sorry.
I I really did like Hey Arnold, but Helga was one of the reasons why I could not stay into Hey Arnold for I couldn't watch too many episodes at once because I was too direct as a child. And it's just like,
Mm.
Helga, just tell him you love him and move
Mm.
on with your life, girl. Holding on to this is just
Like
making it
girl,
harder for everyone.
every
Everyone.
coochie twinkling lyric limerick you pop out right now, like girl, get over yourself. Like either go for it or don't.
She she walked so Tina Belcher could run.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like Tina Belcher doesn't hold back, but she, I yeah, Helga G.
So
Pataki, and they had talk about
this was
diversity. This was
diversity.
a very diverse
Oh,
cast.
and then the
You had
storylines
Asian,
them
Oh, they
black,
children
were
got.
some of them were
yeah,
really heavy, real
yeah.
heavy shit.
Some of them were so heavy and so well. You can tell someone crafted a lot of those storylines with such care. Even Arnold's storyline of why he doesn't have his parents, why he's with his grandparents. It's just a very, I love all the characters. And when they do their backstories and you get more, I wanted to name, if I had a kid at that time, I was still thinking about having children. If I had a little boy, I was going to name him Sid because one of the characters' name was Caesar, and they called him Sid, and I was like, "That's his name. That's going to be his name." I'm gonna call him Sid, but he'll really be Caesar.
Yeah, I
Little
did enjoy
backstory
this
about me.
series.
Oh my gosh, that's it should be way higher. I absolutely adore
I
Hey
just realized my
Arnold.
microphone was off.
I think the problem is that they
Sorry about
didn't.
that.
Oh, would you
I
say?
was
Did you say
saying
something?
something, so I was just talking and nothing was coming out.
Yeah, we did. Well,
Oh,
I
It's all
certainly did
right.
not hear you.
But I will say, like, this show really is a good depiction of what having a big friend circle and a diverse friend circle and the benefits of it. These kids, like,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was Rondo who was rich, whether it was Helga who didn't like nobody, whether it was
Rhonda,
Harold, Eugene, Phoebe,
Phoebe, who was
they would
smart.
play baseball together. They would play football together. They would hang out in the
Mm-hmm.
park together. They would do activities together. Like,
oh yeah, there was that one dad who lost his Vietnamese daughter because of the war.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
And he was living in their boarding house. Yes. And then there was the country music star. And what was the one with the
oh
pigeons?
oh yeah,
The
yeah, I know
guy, the
exactly
straight
the Pigeon Man. I know what you're talking about. But they
yeah, they had a lot of deep ass stories that you're like, this is trauma rich, but it shows it showed different types of trauma, and it shows how people, like you said, move past or through trauma, because just the main character Arnold not having his parents, you remember that
yeah,
whole
it's like
episode
this show has
where
so
Yep.
much emotional weight to it.
Didn't they do a whole
They
movie
did
about
when he
it?
found his
Of him
parents.
yes,
trying to
Yeah,
find his parents? Yeah.
yes, and the whole like backstory of his parents being these explorers, and then that was a lie, right? That was something just his
no, they were
grandfather
really
made.
explorers.
I used to like to talk like his
No, they really were
grandfather, huh?
explorers. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
For
good
some
for
reason, I
them.
had in my head it was a lie. Anyway, when I had a dog Simba, and I used to my dog Simba, the little voice I would give him would be Grandpa's voice. I used to
But
love that.
again, great show. Got it deserves so much recognition for it. I enjoyed it.
Ah,
I loved it.
so wonderful.
On to the
Loved it.
next. You can't do that on television.
You can't do that on television. Okay,
Way
so that's a
before my
very
time,
old
so I
show,
can't
and
even tell
so
you.
I remember this show, and that's where like the first slime would come from. You know that and the game shows. So way back in the day, before they had the whole iCarly and the Victorian secret stuff, they had game shows and different things like that. So there'll probably be a lot of, well, one or two more game shows on there. And Nickelodeon was a good channel to. Nickelodeon started off like Cartoon Network, to be honest with you. In the day, you had stuff like, you probably don't remember this, but pinwheel, turn it around, turn in the pinwheel and see what I found. It was like a Sesame Street. It's like
Ah,
a Canadian Sesame
Uh-huh.
Street, right? And
all right.
they would play all these like Paddington Bear. Like y'all don't remember any of
Nah,
that shit, do
sorry,
you?
I remember
Yeah.
Paddington Bear.
So Paddington Bear, I used to love, again, 70s. I was born 74. So this is stuff that when we got cable, when we got Nickelodeon, this is what Nickelodeon was. In the daytime, it was more of the like electric company
Oh
PBS
yeah.
kind of stuff, teaching you stuff through Canadian television stuff. And then in the afternoon, you had all these like game shows and things like that. There's another game show that's probably going to come up, but yeah, you can't do that on television. Was one of them. That was a variety show with kids.
Got it.
So I didn't know it ran so long, 79 to 90. So just gave you a little bit of history there, kids.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
The Brothers Garcia. I remember briefly about this show, but I do not remember the entirety.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, this
I
one was a hit in the dark, but I can definitely tell you I would have loved it if I had known about it.
I don't.
This might have been a few kids' gay awakening.
Especially with that one on the
What?
left.
I can
Okay.
tell. Yeah, I can tell. It's just like
You mean
them hookah
ears?
shells.
Yeah.
With ears?
Yeah,
Oh.
that would have been some people's gay awakening. I know gays, and I know that necklace.
What does he look like
Oh,
now?
God,
What does
come
he
on,
look like
Yvonne. I
now?
can't keep doing this shit.
Well, I want to know. Like, y'all are talking all this shit about ears. I mean, to me, he just looks like a kid with beads and ears. What does
I'm
he
just
look like
saying,
now?
when I was a child, I knew what kind of person I liked, and he reminded me of some of the kids in the neighborhood that definitely made sure I had a good day.
Oh my lord! You're gonna get us talk about me get us demonetized. Talking like that, sir, you're gonna get us demonetized. What does he look
We
like
were
now?
children, but I could definitely, looking back on it in hindsight, like, oh, this kid really liked me. He made sure I had. He paid $1 for me to eat
I mean,
something from the
okay.
candy man
he was in a
outside
lot of
the
queer.
school every day.
He was also in a lot of queer things. He didn't age too goddamn well, but.
Oh, what Where is
Oh,
it?
well,
Oh, oh,
All right, let's stop talking
well,
oh.
about this before we get in trouble.
well,
Okay. Well, no, he's cute in his own way.
That's a nice way of saying
yeah.
okay.
Maybe you should
No,
have kept the
y'all are
10.
being messy. I said what I said.
Nobody's
He's
being
cute in
messy.
a nice way.
Nobody's being messy.
I think
You
you
are
should have
being
kept the
messy.
10.
All right, top 5.
Shut
Fairly
up.
Odd Parents. Makes
Yes.
sense.
Fairly Odd Parents. Yes.
I mean, yes, I think the reboot has done it a lot of justice. I definitely think there was a period between like 2010 and 2017 where they should have let that bitch die.
Shouldn't
But
have
that's just
added
me.
the dog
Yeah.
and got rid of the AJ and his best
16
friends and
years
shit
and a
like that.
baby. What the fuck is where'd the baby come
This
from?
was one of
Oh,
Timmy's wishes.
Cosmo got
Yeah,
pregnant.
like this was a wish that he wanted them to
Oh,
have kids.
Jesus.
And they named
Jesus. Yeah, I tapped out of
And
that a
male
long time
fairies
ago.
get pregnant.
and his name was Poof.
So,
Oh, now I'm interested. So the boy fairy had the
Yeah.
baby? I would
yeah,
tap
the
into
green
that.
fairy had the
All
baby. And for
All
some
right.
reason, it looks like Wandissimo.
Okay, Wanda. Go ahead, girl. I'd knock him up again. Just so you
Again,
know.
the baby looks like Wandissimo, the Latin fairy with purple eyes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Everybody like started to
Oh.
peep that, and we were like, "Wait a second, this is interesting."
That is. Moving on.
Okay, so the thing I'm confused by, because I just looked it up. If you mix pink and green together, it does not make purple. So how does this baby exist?
Moving on.
Like this color palette makes no sense. I'm sorry.
Moving on.
Number
my
4,
Lord.
Rugrats deserves to be where it is.
Rugrats. Yes. Seminal show, Rugrats. Again, neck to head ratio. Should saw this
the
coming
conspiracy
from
theory behind
Nickelodeon.
this is so, it's wild.
But actually, no, it makes a little bit more
What
sense because
conspiracy
babies
theory?
ain't got a whole lot of. They're not supposed to be able to hold up their head like that.
They need more neck than that to hold up that head.
The
Come
theory
on.
is that the show Angelica is made up all of these kids, basically.
And she
Because
has
she's a
No, so
single.
the doll that she's holding is technically supposed to be her real mother and not the woman that's actually who looks like her is her mother. Yeah,
Cynthia?
the doll, and then Phil and Lil, they were still no. I think they didn't make it to birth, so she didn't know if it was a boy or a girl, so that's why they're twins. And then Tommy was technically a stillborn, so that's why he looks the way he does.
Who came up with this
I have
theory?
no clue.
I remember I read this about creepy. I think it was a creepy pasta theory
I was
because
gonna
there's
say-
also with Ed and Eddie, all the kids inside the cul-de-sac were supposed to be kids from like a different time that died in a tragic way.
Some people got a lot of time on their hands, and so
Yes, but it
Chucky.
definitely
What
creeped me
what
out.
was Chucky's
I think-
backstory in this creepy?
I think Chucky was actually
but he was
alive.
just riddled with anxiety.
It was
he just went along
no,
with the
I think he was
psychosis.
just like a kid who's extremely anxious because of his mother or something like that. Like that's why it's like, oh my god, the Rugrats movie.
You know the one I love.
I
I don't remember the movie.
I remember Paris. I don't remember.
No,
the
well,
first
not
one.
the
And then when
not
I
when
did watch,
Bill was first born. I'm talking about the one in Paris. That shit breaks my
Yeah.
heart. Oh.
I never. Yeah, I know.
and then we got an Asian character.
And when his
See,
dad finally
that
fell
was-
in, oh.
He was about to fall in love with Coco.
Oh my god.
The one that I remember the most was the redhead Chucky, when they did the backstory on why he talks like that and his allergies. And then I know when they became adults, Chucky fell in love with the little black girl, right?
I do not remember.
Yeah, I think that was Susie Carmichael.
Because I don't remember All Grown Up all that well, except for that
All
one
Grown
episode
Up,
where
I
they went to
believe
the
Chucky
haunted.
and the black girl.
Susie.
What's her name? Susie, the one that stood up to Angelica. They were the same age.
Yes. So
Susie
for
and
those of you
Chucky
who don't know, because I remember when that premiered, that's how I remember that vividly. All Grown Up is the teenage version of this show, which was a cute show. It was good, and I got the premise. I'm happy they did it in a way that wasn't like, let's just keep them as babies and like, or as teenagers, like, like they were actually teenagers, and they gave them such distinct personalities. Like Dale was just like this goofy idiot who didn't do shit. Like they all just grew up in a way that was
They even made the parents.
They made the parents a little bit older.
Like, I saw that coming. Right. You're like, I saw that coming. Saw that coming. I think Angelica's parents got divorced.
But I know like Phil and Lil
They were very close to it if they weren't
And I think
already.
like Phil and
Right.
Lil
You were like, could
dealt
see
with like
that coming.
identity issues because they were twins, and Lil wanted to be like
Yeah.
separate from her brother for like at that point. It was like
Yeah.
that was a good show. It was really good.
Yeah. They really did a good job with the
All right,
teenage years.
my
All that.
SNL,
All
All
that. All
the
that. I remember it vaguely.
musical guest they used to have on there. Destiny's Child was on there at one point. TLC was on there at one
Hmm.
point. Like there was a bunch of them on there at one
It was the
All
point.
way they
that
would
was a
make fun of some of the artists. And here's
all
Britney
that was a
Spears.
big
She
deal
Now
has
we're
when it came
gonna
really
out.
stinky
take
feet.
away what
Uh-huh.
Dan Snyder did. We're not forgetting it. We
No,
acknowledge that it
well,
happened,
yeah,
but like for
that
right
was
now,
a
this
nightmare. Yeah.
show
Yeah.
was
That was a good show that
my
gave a lot of kids a
childhood.
chance.
It is the reason why we have a Keenan Thompson to this day.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a lot
Keenan
like
and Kel,
Yes.
right?
yeah, there's a lot of black artists that were made through all that, or not black artists, but black
All that.
celebrities that wouldn't have gotten their chances in
All
other shows if it wasn't for all
It's the
that.
reason.
Who did the theme song? Wait, was it T-Boz,
I
Left
think
Eye,
it
and
was
Chili?
TLC who did the theme
Um,
song for them.
TLC. Oh, because I remember
Yeah.
the rap. Oh, I can't do it, but I remember in my
Yeah, I think it was
head.
them who did it.
All
And then it
that,
also got reinstallments, so it had like different
all
versions
that.
of it for one point. So it came back through twice.
Yeah,
Oh
it 'cause it
yeah.
looks like it went for
It
a
came back
while.
twice.
Yeah,
There was the
94 to
original one from the
2000.
90s, and then there was one like in the mid 2000s, and then there's another one that came back in like 2024 or something, like 2023 or something like that. I remember the second installment too.
Again, that variety show, like we said, you can't do that on television. That's a continuation
Yeah.
with all that. Same sort of variety show, just kind of updated for
A more
that
modern
generation.
audience of
Yeah.
that
But
time.
Yeah.
this,
So you didn't. I don't think they did the slime or anything like
and
that.
it
Yeah.
also spun off so many other things. Like all that was like literally spun off
Amanda
Amanda,
Bynes,
Keenan and Kel. Like
Kel.
also most of this cast was on that competition show for kids, like that show they did.
Yeah. Keenan and Kel aren't on here. Their
I don't
show.
think so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Other time.
SpongeBob,
I mean,
of course.
it's still going.
And the Super Bowl episode.
SpongeBob also should have died a
Big-
long time ago, but
Yeah,
it
he
is
should
what
have,
it
'cause it's
is.
still
About
going.
10
Yes.
years ago, it
Meaty
should have died off about
quotes.
10 years ago.
In 2015, no, it should have died 15 years ago. Once they released the movie, the series was supposed
And
to
they're
end.
still releasing
and then they
movies
said
and shit
no.
for this. It's like, come on, let it go already.
Well, because it's a cash cow.
I get it. It's
yeah,
and
it's
yes,
a little
and like
played
just like
out
the
now.
Powerpuff Girls, this is the backbone of Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nickelodeon was built off of SpongeBob. I mean, it's
SpongeBob
such-
is. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's such a funny again, one of these late 90s shows. Not the original one really wasn't made for kids, kind of a stoner series, sort of like something that probably the original first two seasons should have been like on an Adult Swim kind of thing, like with like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, like just crazy shit you watch when you're high. And then somebody said, kids are gonna love that, and they just turned it into a kid thing. But yeah, the first few
They were
seasons,
good.
the humor was
it
very
more,
adult.
Yeah,
It was not a
mature
child
for
humor.
us.
Oh yeah, there was that one episode where SpongeBob got caught by Gary watching that sea plant going up and down. It's like Gary,
right?
Oh.
And it was just like, oh my god, it's just a lot of things were like appropriate for older teens and like people in their 20s, but that's who a lot of times cartoons, that's who the audience will build it, will be older people sometimes, because you're like, this shit's funny, and then they filter it down to younger kids, like, ooh, it looks funny.
Think back in the day, cartoonists, their formula was supposed to be, hey, yes, this show is for kids, but we need to give something to the adults. So that's the reason why you would see those like bits of humor where it's just like a kid's gonna look at this and laugh because of ridiculousness, an adult's gonna laugh at this because of the double entendre.
I think if we looked at
we're not talking about
the double
this.
entendre. The double entendre.
I think if we looked at this show now with a different lens, it'll be like at our ages, looking at the early seasons, it'd be like, oh, we're just seeing the show totally differently now. This show is amazing.
Oh yeah, if you would, because I'm a lot older than you. If you looked at it the first few seasons, the way I looked at it now, you'd be like, why are kids laughing at this? This is not appropriate. This shit's funny as hell, but this shit's not appropriate for
All
kids.
right.
Hey, I watched American. Okay,
No, go ahead, Bo. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No. Oh, yeah.
I was just gonna say, it's just like, I watched Family Guy when I was in like second and third grade. And
Inappropriate.
Yes, inappropriate, definitely. Not gonna say it wasn't, but without getting some of the jokes, I could still laugh because it was still just the ridiculousness. Like, kids will laugh at things and pick up on stuff without being able to realize the whole joke. That's the reason why I like the older shows, because they didn't hold children's hand. They didn't. It's kind of one of those, like, when they started thinking about children's rights when it came to workplace rights.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, do you think of children as tiny adults, or do you think of children as angels, or like small angels of God, completely innocent? And it's just like, I was always treated towards tiny adult, so therefore all television that I liked, I preferred it when it treated me like with a little bit more maturity of like, you may not get this now, but you'll get this later, but you can still laugh at it.
Inappropriate.
Are you shaming me right now?
I am. I'm shaming you and your parents. Inappropriate.
All right.
Don't you shame my mama.
I'm shame your mama. Because I'm old enough to be your mama.
The number one show on Nickelodeon out of all 25. Can anybody take a wild guess?
By this person's estimation, because this person's a little off, but go ahead.
You want to take a guess?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're supposed to guess. Oh God. What's
I can't
left?
think of anything. Yeah.
Wait, what's, like, if it wasn't SpongeBob,
the Amanda Show?
I'll give you a hint.
We
always argue about it.
We
Avatar: The Last Airbender. They
Seriously?
actually did right. They did right. I don't know why they said / Legend of Korra, but definitely Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I'm gonna call some shenanigans on this.
There's a reason why this is number one. This show.
Yeah, because this Legend of Korra is about to come out, and they want to drum up business for this, because this shouldn't be number one.
It's not just the Legend of Korra; it's also Avatar as well. The Last Airbender. This show had a lot of maturity to it for a kids show. I mean, a high level of maturity to it for a kids show.
I get that it should be in the top 5, but your network was literally built off of SpongeBob.
Yes, I just don't get
it at number
I completely
one.
agree with that, but this really blew up. This blew
I will
up
say,
hard.
In terms of old money SpongeBob, in terms of new money, it would be Avatar: The Last Airbender, because also Avatar: The Last Airbender has had a very large staying power in terms of cultural zeitgeist. Whereas SpongeBob is kind of something in the back of the brain. Avatar: The Last Airbender is still in the front of a lot of people's brains, especially because of Legend of Korra and people going back and watching Avatar: The Last Airbender because they didn't like Korra, and they'll probably go back and watch Avatar: The Last Airbender again because they're coming out with a new whatchamacallit. So I will definitely say it should be top 5.
It's also the fact that this show, it just brought it. It has so much weight to it. There were so many levels to it. You know what I mean? It did spark a lot for a lot of people. It's a lot of emotion in this show. Like Uncle Iroh crying over his lost son.
You know how I feel. I liked Uncle Iroh, but then somebody said he's a war criminal and was shaming me, and I was
the episode where Appa was just like wandering off by himself alone, not knowing what. I was like,
Appa was fighting for his life. That episode hurt me. I almost stopped watching the series because of the episode with Appa, because I was like, this is dark and I need some brevity.
I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Yvonne, but like for a lot of us, this show was impactful.
No, I totally get it. Yeah, no, I get it. That, you know, that it did. So like I said, I was a grown ass adult, but I did cue in. Like, remember I told you, I said, oh, this touches on a lot of adult sort of themes. I get it. It's well written. The Last Airbender. So I totally get it. It just, at the point in my life, it just didn't,
with my mom.
It didn't touch me the way sort of like, Hey Arnold, like, see how y'all are passionate about that. That's the way I was passionate about like, Hey Arnold, you know, like that touched me. I cried. I literally cried over a cartoon child, you know? So I get it. It something that's well written is well written, period.
Yeah. But
I just wouldn't have put it at number 1. But I get that what I view as seminal might be a little dated to.
No, I would I would agree with you, Yvonne. I would not say that it is number one in comparison to all those shows on the list. I can see why somebody would put it at number one, but it's also, I don't think this was an objective and or voted upon like listing. I think this was just kind of like a based on these shows and kind of like their cultural staying power and how I feel about them. I would rank
I
them
think they
like
were
this.
also.
Because if we did do
I
it,
think they were also ranked by uniqueness as well.
Yeah, because I would also very much say it's just like SpongeBob. If we were to do it objectively and just go by the numbers game, SpongeBob would always be number one for Nickelodeon because of how long the show has been in circulation, the money that it's brought, the movies that it has. Like SpongeBob is Nickelodeon's Pokemon,
Right.
and there's
Or
nothing anybody can say.
Powerpuff Girl, or like,
Yeah.
that built your back. I get it.
Like
But
it's built
I
its back
get
and it refuses to leave the
it
let it
refuses to
die.
die. Stop doing it. Let SpongeBob die. But I get with, like I said, Airbender, great. I didn't watch The Legend of Korra, but the Airbender, it was a good show, and you could tell that this is going to deal with a lot of adult themes,
Mm-hmm.
and from the episodes that I did watch, I didn't get that deep into it. It did it pretty well, enough for me to go, that resonates, that makes sense, and for me to, look at some of the characters and have empathy for
Yeah.
them, where maybe
I think
you know
I think that's one of the biggest things about Avatar: The Last Airbender that really helped like give it the power that it did. It's one of the few shows that really touched on empathy and conflict resolution
yes,
while in continuance, because a lot of shows it was just like the conflict and the resolution are going to come in one episode, and towards the middle of the
right,
series of Avatar you started to see like, no, this isn't a one episode fix. This is
right,
a
And it
no,
also
continuous
talked about
problem. Like we have
forgiveness
not
and
fixed
shit,
it.
like forgiveness.
forgiveness. It talked about big things,
Yes,
colonizers,
Oh
forgiveness.
yes.
The world is not
it's not
perfect.
black and
You're
white.
never going to have a
It's
perfect.
definitely
And I think that's where the Airbender and a lot of these cartoons do that very well in presenting reality, that everything doesn't, like you said, Star Mother, everything doesn't sum up in the next 28 minutes. Everything doesn't have a beautiful bow on it. Everything doesn't end perfectly, doesn't begin perfectly or end perfectly. You're going to have imperfect people as leaders, like Korra,
Mm-hmm.
like the Airbender, like the Fire Nation, and you're going to have conflict, unfortunately. And that is going to impact your life, and to do it, I think with the way they did it well is to do it with children,
yes.
and show
Yes.
that, hey, the audience, which is clever because the audience you're drawing in are the same age, putting themselves in, that situation, and, feeling a lot of those things of alienation, of hurt,
And it's like saying
of,
like you're 12 years
of,
old. Yeah, you may not think that your life is
mhm,
difficult, but like look how they're facing their problems. It's something you can learn
they're
from
facing their problems.
and take that on.
Right.
So
You
it's
could be
like
an airbender at 12 years
I
old.
think so. Yeah,
I
So
also
I
think
think
some
they did that very well. No, so I get how it resonates with you, and
mm.
I don't ever think that I'm like, because I
No,
think
no,
that
no.
it's
I
a
definitely
yeah,
don't
subjective
think
list.
that.
Obviously, we would have rearranged that. Other shows would
yeah.
I would have put different
I
shows on
think
there because there's plenty of shows that aren't even on there. I'm
There are
like
a couple of shows that are not on there that
like
I was a little
yeah,
surprised by, but
yeah, like
again,
Keenan and Kel definitely would have been
My
on
Life
there
as a
because
Teenage Robot.
Keenan and Kel, my life as
My
yeah,
Life
there
That
as
was
a
a
wasn't
lot
Teenage
of
on the
Robot,
list. I was like, what
yeah,
the fuck? This is a great
yeah.
show.
You know what else wasn't on the list that I think somebody else outside of this podcast would have been upset about? Winx Club.
Wayne's Club,
Winx Club.
Winks. Oh my god, y'all just be y'all just be firing shots like
No,
just.
but I would also say that Winx Club should probably be on there because that thing got a full 4 seasons.
So
Any show that
Was
got
that the
four
one with
seasons
the
should
was that
be.
the one with the
no.
ponies?
No, I think that's My
Technically
Little
yes,
Pony.
Nickelodeon.
Did I ever tell you about the time that I almost dated a guy that was a bromie?
Oh my
Like,
gosh,
we
I'm
had
happy you
gone out
didn't.
on 4 dates. This is before I knew what a
Yvonne,
bromie
please don't
was,
say
right?
shit that will get us.
Girl, bye. If this man's still alive, because that was also the dude that, to try to seduce me, he told me about his sleep apnea machine. I was like, sir, this date is over. Please bring me my to-go plate of tacos. I am, I am
You
done.
must have said like I got a bottle of Vicodin. You
I
want to
am.
just go at?
Who seduces somebody by telling them about their sleep apnea machine?
Listen, I say I'll do things for a tub of ice cream, so I can't blame you.
Girl, bye. And then gonna
Girl.
top it by telling me how you're a My Little Pony. That was when the bronies were
Oh.
like a big thing, and people were like, and I was like, I didn't know what it was, so I had to run home to look it up on the internet, and I was like, you're what?
Well,
Because the biggest problem with bronies is that they weren't normal people in mass. Like,
No.
that was the biggest issue. Like, it was one thing if you liked My Little Pony. If you were a guy who liked My Little Pony and you never called yourself a brony, nobody would have looked at you any different.
Right.
The moment you put on that label, though, everybody gave bombastic side eye. Like,
Right. That
you know what?
and coupled, like I said, with the whole sleep apnea machine, sir, our date is over. And this was 3 dates in. This was the year in my late 30s, early 40s, where I was like, you know what? I'm being too picky in life. I'm going to date people and not be judgy. Universe, send me your
said
best.
no.
That
The
was one
universe
of the
said,
best.
here's an option. I don't think you're gonna like this option.
The date after that was 132nd Cherokee, and that one was even weirder than the brony. So then there was the physicist who we sat on a date and we plotted the perfect murder, and I thought, holy crap, I can't date this man, this is scary.
I don't know. That feels like that probably would be the person to marry.
No, he the second date he brought like paper. I mean, he was Indian. He was really mapping it out, and I was like, "Are we really sitting here plotting a perfect murder?" He's like, "Yeah, this is so much fun." I was like, "Probably,
I would not do
yeah."
that.
So
Okay,
after
maybe-
him,
I think maybe that would be like a third or fourth date kind of thing. Like, let's do this when we're kind of more invested in each other, and it's just like this.
I don't think that should be an
I was-
anytime
where
date.
this
Let's
is
just leave
go.
it there.
that
Oh.
was like, I was like, no, I don't think we should date anymore. So, so piece of advice: don't get into like your mid-30s and get desperate and say to the universe, "Okay, universe, I'm just gonna date whoever asks me out," because the universe got jokes, and you'll be sitting there going, "The fuck."
Oh no! I am in my divine comedy can definitely say no. The universe has always had jokes when it came to me because I asked for things and I got them, and when I got them, I realized I should have been more specific.
Me
I should have asked for
too.
more, or I shouldn't have said
Me
nothing
too.
at
I will
all.
co-sign that statement.
There you go. Should have,
But
Because
should have been a
living
little
through
more
9
specific
accidents
there,
and
universe.
never once actually getting hurt shows me that the universe likes to
Wow.
laugh.
Your universe loves you. 9 accidents and you never get hurt.
I also
Come
want to
on.
say
You can't
9
ask for more than
accidents,
that.
not once been hurt, but like each time it's pretty.
I also want to
fucking
say
crazy.
something
Wait, are these car accidents?
about.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Were you driving?
4 of them I was no 5 of them I was in the car. 4 of them I was a pedestrian, and each time I got hit, I
You
never
drive
got
this
hurt,
close
but
to
it
the
was
steering
always
wheel.
kind
How
of
can
one
you
of
not be
those.
able, like, I don't understand it.
Ken,
I'm not
when
the
we visit
issue.
Star Mother,
People
we're
hit
not gonna let
me
him
in plain.
drive.
All my accidents,
And he
except
goes across
shit-
the street first. We wait.
Yeah,
I've been in.
no,
You
because
and I-
also nobody else gets
I've
caught
been in the
up.
car
Nobody
with him
else gets caught
twice.
up.
I know how he drives.
Like,
We're
there's
gonna
a-
send
I'm
you
not
across
the
the street
issue.
first.
I'm
We're
not
gonna let the light
issue, I
change and go.
promise.
Go ahead, Star Mother. You go. We'll wait for the next light change.
But you know what?
And also, no, the biggest thing is the only time I ever gotten into car accidents is when I'm by myself on my way home.
Okay.
And I am being extra careful that day because I just want to make it home in one piece. And then I'm minding my business and somebody T-bones me. What
Oh,
the
yeah, you did tell me that
fudge?
happened.
And this is not even a minor fender bender.
Yeah, you did tell me
T-bone.
that
Oh
happened.
no.
Yes, but I came out unscathed. So that's the reason why I say
no.
the universe does love me. She's got
What
a
if you have a
divine...
superpower? What if
What,
you have
bad
like
luck?
a superpower where you cannot be? Well, no, where you cannot be harmed. Wasn't there a movie like that where the person had like a superpower? They couldn't be harmed. They didn't know
I
it,
don't know.
but they just, you
Yeah, apparently,
you are
'cause
made
it's
of
just-
aluminium, buddy. You are.
There's something's going on because the amount of times I should have died in my life. When the Christians say they got a testimony, Lord knows I got 3. I got more than 3. I got 1 for almost every year of my life.
I will
on
say
average.
this to back you up on that. When I think about like in my late 20s, well, mid, and the amount of shenanigans that I did going over to strange people's homes, I dated like I was a gay man. Like before Grindr was Grindr, going to strange people's houses for sex and just stupid shit. Like I think about it now. I'm like, I should be dead. I should be on one of those shows that comes on, like my dad watches them all the time, where they're like, "She was so wonderful," and they show high school pictures where you're standing there like that.
All right, let's wrap this up. I'm sick of both of y'all. All right, how do you feel about the list from 0 to 100%? Where are you feeling it? I'm feeling about a good 70.
I give it a good
Yeah,
70. I
I feel
give
like
it a
there's
good
too many.
70.
I feel like somebody had some
I think
papers to sell.
there's too many. There's too many shows left off of that list.
I agree. I think there's
There's
some
some
shows
shows
that are
that
left
deserve to
off.
have been on it, and there weren't.
I that had more cultural impacts because there were some shows where it's just like, yeah, no, this wasn't that big of a deal. Oh my gosh, Zoe 101 wasn't
It
on
surely
there.
wasn't.
Yeah,
Like I
Zoe
get the
101.
And
Didn't have
Zoe
Britney
101
Spears
had a
sister?
I
big
get
staying
this
power.
list. Like I get it in the sense of like looking at the list in itself. All these shows were completely different from each other. I get that,
The
but at the
styles,
same
yeah.
time, there are plenty of shows that should have been on there that had a much bigger impact that were not on there.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, at the same time, you also have to pare it
Yeah,
down. There's only 25.
Mm.
And what is like we're just saying, which seminal to one may not be seminal to others. And
For our
it's
audience, what does seminal mean?
important, groundbreaking. You know,
I got it.
Negro,
I
you
understand
were
context
using. I was
clues.
about to say you were using these ACT
you
words
know, she took
just a
AP
little
English
while
or
ago. Then you
whatever.
go, I did, and AP history and Russian history. Thank you very
I
much.
did not take Russian, but I did take AP World History. But anyways,
I
no, I'm
entered
sorry. It was
college
just
with
like seminal
18
was a new word
credits
to
to
me,
my
but I
name. Thank you
also
very
understood
much.
context clues. So I was just like, just in case our audience doesn't get it, let's make sure.
But what kills me is I clocked you using like 3 or 4 like SAT, ACT words, and I'm like, oh, look at big brain here. Look at him do it.
You could stop me because I also don't understand. I've had friends who have stopped me and said, you always use big words when you talk to me. And it's just like, girl, what big words did I use?
Well, I
Because
mean,
I don't clock them anymore. I
they were
read.
big
I'm
words, but
sorry.
I knew what they meant, so I didn't need to stop you. But I was like, sometimes when people use, I had a coworker that used to say, "Dang, that's a quarter word for a nickel's worth of knowledge," and I always think in my head that's funny because sometimes when you use these words, people are a little intimidated by saying But anyway,
Let's wrap this
girl,
all up.
please. You're gonna lose
This has been a great episode. We've had fun.
This has
Another top
been
25 down. I don't think there's another one we can actually do. I mean, I can look into other networks.
Well,
The only
Disney.
other one we could do is
Unless we
Disney,
want to do.
but the problem
But
with
I was
Disney
broke.
is
I ain't had no Disney money.
I'll
I'm
look.
gonna tell
I'll
y'all
see
that
what
right
it is
now.
if there is one. I'm pretty sure most of that show now I wouldn't even watch.
no.
If
See, my problem with Disney is there's the cartoon universe, then there's the live action universe, and I would rather do 2 different lists of those. But
if
again, Yvonne not gonna be able to keep up as much. I'd rather
If
do,
the
and
pot-
that means she can't
Yvonne
even
not gonna
talk
be able to
about
keep
the
up
straight
because how
to.
much was Disney a
girl.
month? Yvonne ain't had that kind of Disney
if
money.
the
And then there's also the straight to home
if the
movies that they
Powerpuff
had, which is
Girls
even
and
funnier.
SpongeBob were the backbones of
Yvonne wasn't watching no Disney straight to home movies.
if
What
the
the hell wrong
Powerpuff
with
Girls
you?
was the backbone
No, straight to TV.
of Cartoon Network and SpongeBob was the backbone of Nickelodeon, I'm going to be a very broad statement that That's So Raven was the backbone of Disney for a while. She held them up for a long time.
I will agree in the
wouldn't
fact
argue
that
with
if it
you.
wasn't for That's So Raven, we wouldn't have had High School
We had
Musical.
a lot of shit.
We wouldn't
Like,
have
be
had Hannah
real.
Montana, which
She
means we wouldn't have had Miley Cyrus.
Raven
know
set the
what?
bar
So
for a lot of people.
Hannah Montana was Disney because I thought Hannah Montana was
No, it was
Nickelodeon.
Disney.
I was like, they show Mr. Hannah girl. So okay,
Yeah,
so that
no.
was Disney.
Yeah, Hannah Montana was Disney, and
Or Sweet Life of Zack and
an
Cody.
episode of That's So Raven was a pilot or a testing
A different
for
show.
the concept of for a different movie. And once that movie came out, they had the green light. They felt with it the green light.
Technically
to do more
speaking,
shows.
That's a Raven wasn't even supposed to be her show. She was supposed to be the friend of someone on that show, but they made Raven the star of the show
because of how she
power.
tested. When they were doing the chemistry test, they were like,
show.
"Oh yeah, Raven always had a job."
Yeah, she's
always had a job.
You know,
Raven
child
Simone was the
just...
Kiki Palmer before Kiki
and
Palmer.
well,
Palmer,
actually,
that's
somebody
right.
said like, "Oh, Raven Simone's like the Beyonce of Disney Channel," which Raven goes and say like, "I was actually famous before Beyonce was," which technically speaking, she was right.
Yeah.
She was famous before
she
Beyonce.
was.
Not as famous as
but
Beyonce.
she was famous before
she
Beyonce was famous.
I do like that Raven speaks up for herself. Now she's not always the most,
eloquent or intelligent or right.
Yeah. Yeah, but she does
But
speak up for herself, and she does deserve her
but yeah, like
flowers for what she
factually, she
did.
is
She
correct.
did.
She was famous before Beyonce was, but she is like the
Yes, she
Beyonce of Disney
is.
Channel because I do think she is like
She is. And I again, she's another one that I've got to think saw a lot of shit and lived through a lot of trauma. So I do tread carefully,
mm-hmm.
with her.
You try being
You
a
know,
Disney star when they keep telling you that you're fat, but you're supposed to be representation for
and
plus size girls, and then you do episodes about being plus size girl, but then they tell you to still
and
lose
let's be
weight.
clear.
and that's just after working with Bill Cosby and
And
probably
let's
seeing
be
a ton of
clear.
shit.
She carried Cheetah Girls too.
Oh, if it wasn't the Cheetah Girls died when Raven left. All right, there's no such thing. They never had a third. They didn't have a third movie.
Girl,
Okay.
that's another
I
discussion. That's where the punks
okay.
come in and we talk about that shit.
Okay. I'm here for the discussion. I don't know what the fuck y'all
It's
talking about, but I'm
if
here for
you
You
it.
ain't seen
girl,
the Cheetah Girls?
if you
Never in
ever
life.
do, watch the first one, watch the second one, and then watch the third one, and you'll be like, the third one doesn't need to exist. You can put that back in the vote.
No, just watch
I
30
have
minutes of the
heard
third
of
one.
That's So Raven, but I ain't had no Disney money. I ain't never seen an episode of That's So Raven in my life. Y'all could do Disney, and I would sit here
You need
like,
to
and,
You know,
and
we could
I
do an
will
episode
repeat,
where
I ain't
we can
had
watch the movie
no
together.
Disney money.
It's okay. It's okay. What we can do, Yvonne, because they are on the show or they are on
Uh,
the app, we can
mm.
watch the Cheetah Girls together, and then we can do an episode after talking about how we felt about it.
Oh, that sounds
If you don't want to,
you'll
not
you ain't
like
watch
how
this
got
I
and
want to
to.
be
spend time
Yvonne,
with
you'll
y'all.
watch this and be
Damn.
like, at least in the second one, they'll be like, why are they gaslighting her so much? Like they gaslit Raven
I
the
would
entire
rather
movie.
watch Noah. I would rather watch Noah's Arc with
We
you
could do that too.
guys. That would be so much more fun. That to me, that's a better use of our time than the Cheetah Girls. I don't feel like I'm gonna be
We'll
impacted
find
by the
that'll be
Cheetah
one
Girls.
episode Yvonne
No, you
skipped,
won't,
and
because you are very much outside of the expected
we'll have some other punks up in
movie.
here watching the Cheetah Girls with us. Or listen, if we're talking about the Cheetah Girls, that'll
Yes.
be the one episode Yvonne skipped.
You know whose perspective I would like to get on
Who?
the Cheetah's girl? The Cheetah's girl. Trey. Go ahead and invite Trey.
Yeah,
Let him
he
sit
don't
here and
give
talk
a
about Cheetah
shit.
Girls with y'all.
No, he did watch it. I know. I'm pretty sure he's watched it though.
I bet you he would have a unique perspective about
All
Cheetah
right,
Girl.
let's wrap this up. I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed. I got shit to do in the morning.
Bye.
Thank you,
All right.
everyone.
This has been so
Thank you
much
for
fun
everyone
again.
for being here. Thank you for guys for joining us. This has been a fun episode. Another top 25 down. Maybe we'll do another one about Disney or whatever else we can do. Or I can
figure out another
culminate a
top
list and we can
25
like
that
rank
will do
shit
something.
together. But we'll see what happens.
Ooh, like top 25 sex tapes we want to see. Anybody got that Luigi tape? Drop the link down below.
And I'm Stein Mother, and I'm probably bouncing some ass somewhere.
I'm just gonna put Yvonne on mute right now.
Well, I'm happy that I made it through. Guess who survived the cut?
All right, you unmute yourself, girl.
Do she know?
Son of a bitch, you did mute me. I thought you were kidding.
I did.
Mute me.
All right, I'm stopping this now. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.